G'day geeks, my name is Chris and in this video we are talking about Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Wave 2. That's a lot of words, but they are pretty awesome fantasy figures that have recently been released from a Kickstarter I backed a while ago. So yes, Savage Crucible. If you like your fantasy figures, you'll love these. Let's open them up and have a look. So here we have two wonderfully packaged boxes from Harvinger Studios. So these are from a Kickstarter from about 2 years ago, but that's okay. That's how long it takes to make action figures sometimes. And you know, after COVID, a lot of delays and all that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited to open these two. So we've got Jaeger and Krieger the Shunned, and they both have the same kind of story and mythos on the back. So it's pretty awesome that they're creating their own lore and mythology. And yes, definitely check out Harvinger Studios website. So these are both from Wave 2, and they have a bunch of cool fantasy focused action figures and accessories and a couple of graphic novels and that kind of stuff. I got these coins as part of the Kickstarter and they came relatively, that's how heavy they are. So these are dwarven coins, and they are very detailed, very chunky. These are awesome. I actually use these for Dungeons and Dragons for inspiration points. If you know what that is in D&D, it's basically what you give your players when they do particularly good role playing or whatever, something that their character would do, not necessarily what the player would do. And I give these out just as a token to represent inspiration. Anyway, so yes, the chunky coins are pretty cool and they're still available. We've got two boxes here, Krieger and Jaeger. Let's open them up. So as I said, Harvinger Studios is a relatively new action figure company, and I definitely recommend checking out their website or what they have available on Big Bad Toy Store. They're certainly making some cool stuff. So both of these figures are from Wave 2, so Jaeger and Krieger. And so here is Jaeger here. Both boxes have this wonderful flap with a little Velcro. Open it up. Wonderfully presented box there. And on the left, on both figures, is a bit of a bio of who the actual character is. As you can see, it's got that old fantasy setting, just with the texture, the scroll, all the details everywhere on the box. It's I love the attention to detail, and I love to see, much like what the Four Horsemen are doing with their kind of Mythic Legions line. There's a lot of world building going on here. So yes, let's open up, which one is this? Jaeger, and have a closer look. Straight out of the box, and it's already pretty cool. It's got a nice little surprise. So it does say thank you for your purchase, which is very nice. And it does say also just to be aware that the joints can become stiff. So due to drastic temperature changes, please warm all the joints. Use a hairdryer or whatever. I don't have a hairdryer. I haven't used one of those for years. But yes, it's a good reminder. It also says look behind the map. This is the map that it's referring to, and behind the map is a nice little surprise. So we're going to open that in a tick. But yes, you can see that apart from just the bio, there's also our lovely map. And here is Jaeger himself. Here is the lovely map that it's referring to. So yes, you can see that it's obviously got a very fantasy-like setting in the old kind of parchment paper and stuff. And behind the map, in that little silver sleeve, it's just like having a blind boxing within an action figure box unboxing, which is awesome. There's this card, so a relatively big card, probably twice the size of a normal, say, trading card. And it's got some lovely artwork on the front, sticking with that fantasy theme. And on the back, a lot of jibber jabber, which is probably going to make a lot of sense to those of you who don't play Dungeons and Dragons, but that's basically Barros Baoli. So assuming, I don't know if a figure is coming from this guy, but obviously he is in the Savage Crucible world, and that's all his stats: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and all of the stuff that he can do when it comes to combat and stuff. So that's a nice little surprise. You can basically use this character in your Dungeons and Dragons setting. That's awesome. I thought before I warm up all the joints, we'd have a bit of a look. So besides the wonderful map and the cool card that you can use for Dungeons & Dragons, it also comes with a ton of accessories, including a cloak and a little bonus accessory on the back of in the bottom of the box. So yeah, you certainly get your value for money with these figures. So let's open up this. Guessing it's something long, probably a sword. Ooh, okay. Wow, that's a cool sword. I love the kind of translucent effects, all the little chips and dings on it. Wow, and it kind of goes from dark red to like a pinky purple on the blade. That's a nice curve on it. Wow, that's pretty awesome. I love that. Love the silver on the handle as well. So definitely a formidable fantasy weapon. So yes, when you do get these figures, make sure you check out all the stuff, because you do get a lot of stuff with these figures, and that's awesome to see. So here he is. So Jaeger is a bounty hunter, and he assumes his beast form mostly, by what the buyer was saying. Very detailed, chock full of weapons. There's just belts and buckles everywhere, and everything is painted, which I love. There's no unpainted kind of stuff, and it looks like he's got some shoulder pauldrons which you can remove. The scabbard on his back, just the texture and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely gorgeous, amazing, love it. Already I'm loving this hairy eye patch wearing bounty hunter guy, and look, he could just have a bit of a sleep. So the accessories, he comes with a bit of a cloak / cape. Again, I love the weathering and the holes on the bottom. Comes with a few hands, so we've got a kind of a splayed out hand and a holding hand for his many weapons, and another couple of hands here as well, obviously the reverse, so the hand holding weapon and splayed hand. He comes with a couple of fists straight out of the package. Alternate head, eye patch on the safe side, which is good to see, but yes, the alternate head just comes with a hood, so that will go well with the cloak. Yeah, lovely detail, the teeth, the fur, the yellow eye. Yes, very impressive. That, I guess, also goes, that's like his hood down when he's not wearing it. On the other head, very cool crossbow with a wolf's head done in gold. Yeah, just look at all the detail. Everything, as I said, just everything's painted. The gold and the browns, and it's not like one colour. This is actually a lot of attention to detail. Little dagger. Even the dagger looks pretty awesome. Nice little wrap on there, and a lovely sword, also in the same kind of colours as the dagger, and that's obviously seen a bit of use. Very battle hardened, and a lovely handle, little spike on the end of the curve there. So yeah, a ton of accessories, and the actual figure is I'm very impressed already. I haven't had a proper play with him. I'm going to warm up the joints right now, but so far so good for sure. He's had his warm bath, and I'm glad that I did that to him, because it was certainly good advice, and I've warmed up the joints. So here he is in close up. Jaeger, lovely fur, hair, all that kind of stuff. It's wonderful that the actual all the stuff is quite soft, so there's no danger of breaking. So the crossbows across his chest, very flexible. All the straps are movable. The shoulder pauldrons can come out. The lovely gold there, which is kind of also on his crossbow, so he's got a bit of a wolf head theme going. That's got a little plug there, so that can kind of move out of the way. All the straps, so yeah, it's nothing, even the scabbard with this lovely texture on the back just plugs in the holes on the back there. So yeah, very flexible, very poseable. Got the knees and the hips, bit of a boot swivel there. The arms can come out. His shoulders are still a bit stiff, but that's quite okay, and the arms can be replaced, which is what I've already done here. So he's able to hold this lovely sword, and he bends at the waist and a bit below as well, so the waist and the torso. So very poseable, very, very flexible. I like the asymmetry of the design. I like all the earthy kind of colours, and yeah, he's ready for action. And I love the kind of world building and the bio that they've given him already. Here's Jaeger with the crossbow in hand. Fits in either of the hands. I find the more looser kind of grip hand the easiest to hold. I guess that's the trigger. And I've just thrown the cloak, the lovely tattered cloak, on him. It does have a wire, which is pretty awesome, just on the inside seam there, so you can get a bit of billowy action. It's got some holes in the back, so just one wire running down the front. And as I said, the head is pretty loose, but for posing purposes it's fine. but I think I might have to heat up that ball joint again because it is sitting very loose on the ball joint there, but that's okay. Here is Jaeger a bit more stripped down, so I popped the head off and removed this little bandolier across his chest, which has a scabbard in it, and the sword. So it actually fits in quite nice. It is a bit loose, but it holds in well enough, and it's generally going to be okay. So yes, that can come right off if you take his head off. I also took his head off to put the there's his head, put the little mask on him, or the little hood, so that can just go around his neck thusly, and just put the head on like that. It does come with the second head as well, but finding it a bit difficult to actually put that on, so I might need to do a bit of fancy work on that, or perhaps just heat it up a bit more so the ball joint becomes a bit more flexible. But yes, or the head, there we go, nice comforting snap, and the hands just come out relatively easy as well. And I've taken the shoulder pauldrons off as well, so they just come off, which is pretty easy. There's just a little ball on the back there, but you can throw the cloak on and that'll cover those up. Obviously it's got the fancy sword in his hand, and I did remove this little pouch. I don't recommend doing that because it was a bit difficult to get it back, but that's basically just a peg in the hole, very similar to how this is. But yes, I'm not going to remove the scabbard from that hole, so I think I'll keep that intact. The little knife fits lovely in his little boot there. Again, all very detailed, and yeah, he's a very good looking figure. This is Krieger the Shunned. It comes with all that stuff, plus the bonus card behind the map, and the little bonus weapon as well. So yes, Krieger the Shunned. It's got the same map as Jaeger does, and the bio which says no one knows where Krieger hails from. A wanderer, he appears out of the deserts, desolate places, and the no-man lands of carnage and death. No part of his attire fits the other. Like all his possessions, it's been bargained, foraged, scavenged, pillaged, claimed, and even downright stripped off another's corpse. No wonder he's shunned. But yes, it goes on to say more of his backstory there, but very cool. The very familiar artwork, which I don't think I mentioned before, but yes, I love that kind of style. Dark, depressing, death, fantasy, lots of pointy things going everywhere. Lovely just graphic design with the fonts and textures and all that kind of stuff. So yes, here's Krieger. Let's get him, well, he's shunned, but let's get him unboxed. While Krieger is having a bath, let's have a look at his lovely accessories. So a lovely sword with all the battle damage, and lovely gold hilt with a bit of a wrap on the handle there. Lovely. Awesome looking axe, very barbarian like. Again, lovely wraps, lovely detailed, everything's painted. This is a scabbard. I mean, it's pretty similar to what his bio says, that he just kind of, bit of a scavenger. All these things have a different kind of a makeshift look to them, which is pretty awesome. He's got this thing, which I'm not sure what is. I'm guessing it's going to fit in somewhere. It almost looks like a handle of a shield or something, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Some hands, splayed out hands, the fists, plus those that he's got on him. Another head, bit of damage on his face, and a lovely ponytail. Wish I had hair like that. The other bonus accessory in the black bag. The other one was that very fancy pinky sword. Ooh. It's got that kind of candy kind of look to it, doesn't it? So yes, this is pretty awesome. Actually, I'll try and grab the other one for a bit of a comparison. Well, what do you know? It's actually longer. So this is the one that came with Jaeger. This is the one that comes with Krieger. Similar design, but Krieger's one is a lot longer. So I thought must be the same, but no, different. Pretty cool. But yeah, they've both got that lovely kind of translucent colour to them. So this is Krieger's sword with the green going into the yellow. Very Australian colours there. And this is the last thing, which I've cut open. And inside here is another D&D kind of character with the stats on the back. That is a famous French Rosetta painting, warrior with ball and chain, I think. So that's I don't know what that it's called, lenticular holographic, no, not a hologram. It's something like that, but very fancy with all the light reflecting. Flip it over, there we go, the warrior with the ball and chain. So it's good that they have the Dungeons and Dragons players in mind. Different character, so you can certainly present this to your players so they can see this side, that's who you're fighting, and the Dungeon Master has all these stats on the back. So pretty awesome, a bunch of accessories, a bunch of cool stuff, and yes, I think Krieger's had a nice time in the bath, so let's get him out. While I had Krieger in the bath, I thought I'd throw Jaeger in there as well, just to kind of see if I could soften the ball joint up a bit more, just to get the hooded head on him, which I did manage to do. So I'm pretty happy about that. I can feel that's not exactly snug, but you know, it's not fallen off. So yes, obviously the ball joint just needed a bit more warming up. So very happy that now I can have, I've got 2 alternate heads for Jaeger. Anyway, that's enough for you, Jaeger. Let's talk about Krieger. Another great looking figure here. So he's moving a lot smoother, I must say, than Jaeger was. But yeah, he's got the shoulder movements there, typical movement. The hands can come out, bends at the knee and the ankles, and the torso and the waist, and of course the head and elbows, and the hands come out and swivel as well. So yes, pretty standard articulation for this scale action figure, but yeah, very different look from Jaeger. So you can certainly see what the buyer said is true. He's got a bit of a patchwork of all different kind of stuff, a lot of silver and that kind of stuff going on, a bit of gold, the alternate head if you want him to not have the helmet, but he certainly looks like a typical kind of barbarian guy. Kind of reminds me of Salute of the Jugger, if anyone remembers that film. I love this kind of some kind of creature skull that he's killed, and that's, I guess, is going to be where the scabbard goes. It's a little plug there to go on the back, and then the sword can fit in there. Still not sure what this will be. Maybe that can go in there, but I do notice that this shoulder pauldron can come out and go on the alternate shoulder if you want it to. But yeah, he's got a bit of cloth, bit of armor, and everything's kind of got holes in it, and everything's painted. There's no just simple colors, and everything's really paid attention to detail. Very, very cool looking figure. So you've got the like veins on the biceps and all that barbarian muscle goodness. I did manage to get the scabbard on the back, but what I had to do was remove the head and remove the skull shoulder armor there, and then I just looped this over, like put his arm around and took this whole strap off, and then just kind of gently put it through the little hole in the back. So it can be done, but I do recommend removing this whole piece from the figure himself, and then it's nice and tight on there, and just like the other figure, Jaeger, it can pivot, go anywhere. So that's for this sword. Fits in there beautifully. I like that. I like how even it's a long sword, but you can still see the hilt and the lovely gold detail just behind his back. In case you're wondering, the big long sword, that's not going to fit in there. Just it's too long, and yeah, it's too wide to actually fit in. There's also a loop here, so that's, I guess, where the axe could go. This lovely looking detailed axe, so that can just go in the loop on his belt. He doesn't have any other like daggers or anything like Jaeger does, so really for storing his weapons, he's got the one on the hip and the scabbard on the back, and he can just hold everything else. But yeah, even just removing the head and the skull pauldron, he's got kind of a different look. I suppose you could give him a bare-chested look as well if you just want to keep all this off. They can look like, you know, some kind of pit fighter or something. But yes, pretty awesome so far. I'm going to jump on the website and see what this does. I did have a look on Harvinger Studios website, and there's a lot of pretty pictures with all these action figures. There's also a action figure of the Warrior of the Ball and Chain, and a whole bunch of others. So these are from Wave 2, so you can also get Wave 1, you can get accessory packs, all that kind of stuff. So I kind of got distracted by all the pretty pictures. I was hoping to find some information about what to do with this, and I just had a quick Google and some look at some other YouTube reviewers, and one of the comments on one of the YouTube reviews said that apparently this is used to be used as a handle for this small belt buckle, which can be removed and used as a shield. So I'm going to see if that actually works. I'm hoping that it does, but I guess otherwise you could use this for the shield and other weapons that the accessory packs come with. Well, what do you know, it works. So I removed the little belt buckle, you can see there on the front, and I plugged it in with, again, a bit of extra force just on the little handle that it comes with, and he gets a tiny, shield. I bet it's not huge, it's not gonna, I guess it could deflect an arrow or two, but there we go. I mean, that's a nice touch. So yes, that just comes off the belt buckle, just comes right off with the little port there, but obviously then he's got this kind of flesh coloured protruderance. It looks like, I suppose that could probably be removed as well, but I don't want to try that. Otherwise he can, hang his axe on there or something. Looks like he's got an outie belly button. But yeah, that's a nice little touch. I don't know how effective that is going to be in battle, but it's a pretty cool little touch anyway. You can see while I've got it out, let's have a bit of a look close up. Some nice dents and scars and all that kind of stuff. And the handle just goes in. I guess with these figures, I mean, this is quite flexible, but the handle itself is very hard. I guess with these figures being the first few couple of waves from Harvinger Studios, there are going to be some kind of teething issues, obviously, with how things kind of fit together, and the head's not fitting in straight away. They do need a bit of limbering up in hot water, all that kind of stuff. That's to be expected with a new company, new action figure studio putting out some cool products. So I'm sure as the Harvinger Studios keeps pumping out some great action figures, all those problems will be fixed. But yeah, I'm very impressed with these. And as I said, just like with Jaeger, you can give them a bunch of different looks and different accessories and all that kind of stuff. I love just the texture, everything's so detailed. It certainly has that feel of a lived in kind of world, and the mythology and the lore that they're building on the bios and the maps and all that kind of stuff. Plus the graphic novel is available now as well. So yeah, check out Harvinger Studios. Also, some of their products are available on Big Bad Toy Store. Both of these Savage Crucible figures come with 3 pairs of hands, and I should point out that they are pivot. They have a hinge which goes up and down and also side to side, so they can hold the sword aloft, or they can hold, the crossbow and weapons like that. So it's pretty good that they have a few options. But as you can see, these figures are great, highly detailed, a lot of paint applications, and just the world building, mythology, the lore, plus all the accessories and the bonuses like the different weapons, the maps, and the little cards which you can use for D&D are such a great touch. So this is what toys and action figures should all be all about, bit of world building, bit of fun, bit of using your imagination. So well done Harvinger Studios, and I'm keen to see what they come up with next. So thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll catch you at the next one. Goodbye, geeks.